know, I could say my hopes and wishes for Pokemon 2023, but in reality, I know exactly what's gonna happen. We're gonna complain to hell and back about whatever new game is on its way. It comes out, and then it's not as bad as we thought. Oh, and then Shinx is in it, so it becomes a 10 out of 10 game, and everyone is satisfied. What's new? Alright, what is up y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. I know that this is gonna sound weird because you're probably gonna be hearing this for the next 4 to 5 videos, but I don't know which one is coming out first as of right now. So, happy holidays, happy new year, I hope everybody's having a good one, and I hope everybody's families and loved ones are doing well. Another thing that you're probably going to hear a couple of times now is that the review is completely done, so keep an eye out this week because it will be dropping at some point after this video. Just had to bombard you guys a little bit because I'm not sure that YouTube even knows that I'm alive anymore, and we can't have that. And also, I haven't given you guys a general upload in way too long, so here we are. So when that review finally does drop, could you do me a quick favor and please check it out for me? Put a lot into that, and I would really hate for that one to go under the rug. Trust me, for one reason or another, I do feel like it'll be worth your time. I promise. But until that time, the usual like and subscription really does help if you haven't done that already. Thank you guys kindly. I appreciate every single one of you. So last year was both unexpected and yet all at the same time completely expected. It's very weird how this works with Pokemon. I know well and good that I sound like a broken record, but I will simply still never get over the fact that we had 2 mainline releases, huge mainline releases, game-changing releases within the same year. That is bonkers to me. If it happens again, I'm at the point where I'm not sure if I'll be impressed or pissed off. Knowing me, when we get to that bridge, probably both. Anyway, at the time of this recording, 2022 has been good and done for a good day and a half now. And while it's all good and fun to look back on the past, it's time we start looking into the future. What does 2023 of Pokemon hold for us? And so, with that, the objective of this video is pretty obvious. What do I want out of 2023 when it comes to Pokemon? I have some pretty simple hopes and wishes that you may or may not agree with. And on that note, I'd also like to do a response video after this one here, because I would like to know your hopes and wishes as well. So keep an eye out on the community tab in the Discord, because, you know, we will be doing that. But I think that just about sums up everything I needed to talk about otherwise, so why don't we start talking about some of my hopes for Pokemon in this upcoming year. Before we get to the more obvious stuff like the mainline games and whatnot, let's talk more about the little side stuff. To my understanding, I have yet to talk about this particular topic on this channel so far, but I want to talk about the manga. I have been super out of date when it comes to the actual ongoing manga, the main Pokemon Adventures manga. However, I've heard that it's very good and just about as close to the source material as you can get when it comes to the story. I was only about half aware of that because I had fallen off around the gold and silver era, so I don't know how good or bad it's gotten since then. Apparently it's on hiatus right now and I have no idea when it's gonna come back, but I did take a glance at the last chapter and it kind of covers the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, so don't know how far that goes into it, but it looks really interesting and one of these days I'd like to give it a read. Maybe with you guys, if you guys are down to maybe, I don't know, read along with me or something like that, you guys let me know. Now I know that this is going to sound a little bit out of pocket, but please hear me out for a second. For a very long time now, I've been hoping for another manga alongside the Pokemon Adventure manga that kind of does its own thing with each different region. Like I said a moment ago, the mainline Pokemon Adventures manga follows the primary story as closely as possible, and that's totally fine. They even do it in a way that makes it fun and entertaining and really cool. Supposedly, it even seems to take advantage of characters like Marnie that don't really get a time in the limelight in the games. So hopefully we're clear in which I have nothing against the main manga and in fact would like to read all of it probably within this upcoming year. However, I'm saying that I want another manga because I've been holding out hope specifically because of this one manga that came out almost over a decade ago. Officially licensed by Nintendo and Pokemon, by the way, we got this manga titled Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Adventures. And while I understand that that title is extremely confusing, I am talking about a completely different manga. I'll put it up on the screen for you. I don't think I have enough time to go into what this story is, however, I love how different this one is. Nothing against Satoshi Yamamoto, who does the art style for the mainline Pokemon Adventures manga, but personally, I prefer the art style of the other one. To me personally, in comparison, this other style feels a lot more modern. It also gives a much more serious tone to the story. The ongoing one still has a style that gives me late 90s, early 2000s vibes. Not bad, but I'm just saying that the other one has more of what I'm looking for. What I also like about the other one is that it takes the story that we know about Sinnoh and completely flips it on its head. Besides the obvious main cast from Generation 4 like Cynthia or Cyrus or the Professor or anything like that, the main cast is completely overhauled. For example, we have the main character who looks like Lucas. That kid's name is actually Hareta. This kid is very hell-bent on becoming a strong Pokemon trainer. However, because he was practically raised by Pokemon, how he goes about battles and things like that definitely affects his decisions more, and I like that a lot. And then they went ahead and just switched up a lot of other things with other trainers too, some that I like more than their original stories. Like I said, I don't want to go too deep into it because this is something I may want to tap into maybe sometime this year, maybe in a month from now, who knows, but I would love to get more official styles of manga where the creator is able to get as creative as they want and mix things around as they please. I'm just saying, man, we got some really creative folks out there. Now, as far as the other thing, I mean, I already have a whole video done for this, actually, but long story short, I just really hope that the anime is good. I did get a couple of things that I wanted when it came to this previous anime where Ash got what he needed to get so that he could finally close off his journey with a bang. However, this new series is practically around the corner. In reality, April is not that far. There was a lot of things that I was really hoping for when it came to the new anime, but it may be too soon for those things to actually come to fruition. But April is still a couple of months away, so we'll just have to see how that one plays out. But generally speaking, I just hope that it's enjoyable. And obviously, I don't mean that for just me personally, I mean that for other people as well, because I know that a lot of people are going to be very skeptical now that we don't have Ash. We don't know what to expect with this one. Personally though, I like to think about that as a good thing. Uncharted territory can be kind of exciting, you know what I mean? Now, another thing that I forgot to write down here is that I'm actually really hoping for another Pokemon movie. And when I say that, I mean I'm totally fine with whatever direction they go with a Pokemon movie. A Detective Pikachu 2 would be totally fine with me, however, I'm not exactly sure how they would do a Detective Pikachu 2, but I'm super game for it. However, if there is no sequel planned out, just go ahead and take whatever you did with Detective Pikachu and utilize that for the next live-action film. However, on the opposing side of things, I would love another animated film. Frankly, the last couple of movies have piqued my interest. Ever since I Choose You, I guess they decided not to tie the movies in with the anime anymore, and I didn't hate that. I think I enjoyed it so much because it allowed for the movies to be whatever they wanted to be as opposed to just tying in the legendary of the respective region into that movie. It was always super unique to see these new casts of characters and see how they would react when finally meeting Ash. For lack of a better term, I'm not sure how many of you guys would agree with me on this one, but it kind of had the One Piece effect. I'm not explaining that. Anyway, now that Ash is no longer going to be our main protagonist going forward, I'm really curious to see how they would go about Pokemon movies. Would they use our new characters? Would they create new characters in an entirely new scenario for each movie? I really don't know, but either way, I'm super interested and would love to see what happens with that. So anyway, before I drone on more about that, I think that we've more than enough covered the little stuff. Why don't we start getting into the more meaty things, the side games? Currently, we have an abundance of side games going on, but they're not the kind of side games that I'm talking about. These are the side games that are just specifically made to net them as much money as possible over a long period of time. Pokemon Go, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon Cafe Mix, Pokemon Unite. I don't know, generally speaking, I just feel like I've had my fill of these games. I open up Pokemon Go literally once in a blue moon when I'm out. I'm almost never out. One day I just put down Pokemon Unite and I haven't came back to it since. And then there's Pokemon Masters and Pokemon Cafe Mix. I don't know who's playing these games, but somebody has to be. I have two particular feelings about games like these. As long as they're here and people are enjoying them, I hope people continue to enjoy them and that they bring updates to make those games even better than they were when they started. But like I said a moment ago, I've kind of more than had my fill of these games, and if these are the kinds of games that are getting in the way of us getting other spin-offs that we've been asking for over a decade now, I kinda need them to die. Now, I'm sure that at a glance what I just said doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why in the world would games like these have any effect on the possibilities of Pokemon side games for consoles? Well, think about it for a second. Why in the world would the Pokemon company want to invest in Pokemon games that net them short-term money as opposed to long-term money? When it boils down to it, I think that they've more than figured out that games that have in-game purchases net them a lot more money in the long term. So in turn, it just seems a lot less risky to invest in something that they can continuously update and keep people playing and invested in, as opposed to just waiting a couple of years to put out a new game that not a lot of people are guaranteed to buy. You know what I mean? But hey, maybe that's just me being dramatic. Overall, if they don't have any effect on it, cool, I hope they continue to do well. If they do, I hope they die. I've had my fill. I wouldn't really miss these games if they were to just disappear. Now, we all legally have to wish every year that we get at least 1 or 2 returners when it comes to the spin-off games. The fact that they gave us Pokemon Snap and the remake of Pokemon Red and Blue Rescue Team gives me a flicker of hope. Now, frankly, I'm okay with any returner they could possibly give. And I don't care if it's a port, a remake, or a sequel, as long as we get something regarding Pokemon Rangers, Poke Park, hell, another remake of the Mystery Dungeon games, I'm all for it. I'm more than game with anything within that field. I'm down, I'm serious. Now, if we're getting really specific, there's 2 spin-off possibilities that I've been wanting more than anything else when it comes to Pokemon. The first of which I'm pretty sure you guys have heard me mention before, but I really want another Pokken tournament. Pokken was such a good concept, and it was a lot of fun. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed my time with it so much that I would kill to see another one. New characters, new arenas, new movesets to play around with for older characters. There's just so many possibilities. Now, I'll be completely honest, I don't know if they fixed it up with Pokken Tournament DX. However, if they were to release a new one, as long as that online is easier to access, I think that that game would do really well. And being completely honest, when it comes to the competitive space, Pokken Tournament was the only other thing that held my interest. What can I say? I love fighting games. Now, this other thing is very hyper-specific, so much so I'm not sure if I mentioned it before. There's a good chance I have, but I don't remember, I'll be completely honest. But I'm serious when I say that I would genuinely kill somebody over a Pokemon Warriors game. If you're unaware of what that is, I'll just put an example up on the screen for you right now. Essentially, the basis of a Warriors game is take a character that you know and love, overpower them to hell and back, put like 100 to 1,000 enemies on the screen at once, and then you plow through them with your favorite character. This concept would work so well with Pokemon, I'm actually infuriated about the fact that it doesn't exist yet. One of these days, I would love to make a concepts video to come up with ideas for a Pokemon Warriors game, but I don't know who would be interested in that, so I'll hold off for now. Just saying though, this right here would go absolutely bananas. Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja, if you're hearing me, please call somebody up at the Pokemon Company. Pitch something, I'm begging you, bro. Alright, now with all that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the mainline games and my hopes for that. When it comes to this year in particular, I really don't have a lot of wishes when it comes to the mainline games, believe it or not. Now, it's inevitable that they're going to be giving us some kind of DLC this year, and while I would prefer that they take that time to actually patch the game up, make it play better and run better generally speaking, I know for a fact that that's not going to happen. So, at the very least, I just hope that whatever they give us for DLC is good. Pokemon Sword and Shield's DLC was apparently so good to the masses that they were starting to talk about those games like they were never bad. I don't know how in the hell they managed to pull that off, but if they can do it again, by all means, do it again. However though, just saying, there's no real guarantee that we're gonna follow the pattern of what Generation 8 gave us. It's totally possible that this game won't have any DLC at all, but at the same time, that would be a huge waste, don't you think? Whatever the case may be, I'm down to get DLC. And hey, if you feel like it's gonna take you a little bit longer to really get that quality DLC out, we don't really need anything for the middle of the year if you don't have it. You can just put that at the end of the year. There's no rush, I promise. Now, I'm banking a lot on the release of a DLC because, generally speaking, I physically cannot handle another major release this year. I can't do it. We simply do not need anything major in terms of mainline releases this year. I enjoyed my time with Scarlet and Violet, but good lord, I know for a fact I'd have enjoyed it more if it had more time put into it. So, if y'all got a recipe for whatever the next big thing is, if you're cooking it, preheat the oven, and I swear to God, if it still feels like it's a little doughy, please, for the love of Shanks, put it back in the oven and let it cook. So I guess my hope for mainline releases is that we don't get anything unless it's DLC. That's it. I know for a fact that they're gonna definitely announce something in February because that's just how this works out. If we get even a hint of Generation 5 or Let's Go game or something along those lines, I'm going to blow a gasket. Simply put, my patience is starting to wear real thin. But obviously there's not really much I can do about it either way, so I just hope that it doesn't happen. But I don't work at the Pokemon Company or Game Freak or anything along those lines, so just like everybody else, I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But with all of that said, that pretty much just about wraps up all of my hopes and wishes when it comes to Pokemon in 2023. Overall, I just hope they bring us some nice things, or generally speaking, don't bring us anything at all when it comes to certain things, but we get what we get, and we'll probably be upset, but we're gonna buy it anyway because we love this shit. We really do. But, what are you thinking over there? What's on your mind? What you thinking about when it comes to Pokemon? I'd like to know what you're thinking. Do you have any hopes and wishes when it comes to Pokemon? Do you not really have any expectations? Are you very certain about a couple of things that will definitely be coming out this year? Let me know anything and everything that you guys are thinking in that comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always gonna be down there with you guys. But with that, it do be skedaddle o'clock. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content like this. And with that, I'm gone. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!